We're not sitting around finger popping each other's assholes. We're getting shit done. Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 214, and I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you so much for checking our show out. First episode of 2024, and you can't see this because it's audio only, but who just changed the background to now we're meeting in the middle of, like, the forest?
I'll give you one guess.
Yeah. I'm surprised you even asked.
I'm scared to look on Skype and see the options you didn't choose.
I thought I selected airplane. Just to be honest with you.
I'm sure everyone else on the plane would love if we did a podcast in the middle of the flight.
Here we are live.
There's one on Skype that kind of looks like the Jedi Council room.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
So, all right, before we get started with the movie discussion, folks, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. We begin with the American hero, Nate Thurmond. Nate, it's now 2024. Do you resolve to somehow become more of a hero in the new year?
If anti-hero classifies or falls into that category, then yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to start picking on toddlers a lot more. I don't think I've taken advantage of that enough. I'm not that tall of a guy, but toddlers are easy targets. I think it'll build my confidence, and it'll boost my riz, as the kids are saying these days. So that's kind of my plan in 2024.
It's like in college sports, building your non-conference schedule. You know, you want to get some good toddler fights in and get some victories.
Yeah, just in case I have to get into an argument at work or something. I want to have that higher ground, that mental higher ground. So I think this will help.
Next time you and your boss get in an argument, use the same tricks against the toddler. Like, nuh-uh.
It might work. We'll try it out.
And next we go to our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Now, Cycli, with 2023 officially over, what was your record in litigation over the past year? And please be objective here, should I draft you highly in my next year's lawyer fantasy draft?
So I went 0-0, which, in my opinion, is the best you can possibly do, because that means nothing went to trial. And that means I won everything. They were so scared of me, they didn't even want to enter the courtroom. I'm like Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men.
When was the last time? Because this is not a joke, people listening at home. We have had, I think every major studio at one point has filed some copyright claim on one of our podcast videos. When was the last time we got one of those? It's been a while.
It's been at least a year to 2 years, and I always loved it because we got the same arguments from each studio. And every time we would send, a response, kind of not a generic response, we'd formulate it to what the complaint was. But every time we showed any sense of awareness of what was actually going on these kind of complaints, they immediately backed down. I mean, they not one time did we go to a second round of a complaint, which there was a couple times I thought, hey, there's too much of that song in one of our pods, or too much noise background of the movie. But I think a lot of times they're just fishing to see who actually fights back or not.
Shameless plug, but our Air Force One movie commentary, I think, is like our second or maybe even the first most viewed piece of content we've ever put out. But it is copyright flagged because at the end we made an Air Force One 2 fake trailer, and we use like an AC/DC song in it. But it's integral to the trailer, so I don't think we were able to. I was like, we can't crop it out. We got to keep it in there.
Like, I would rather no one ever see it than lose my integrity.
Basically,
art. Yeah,
I'm a true artiste. All right, well, here on the Bro Force Squad podcast, we start every episode off with the most important thing in every bro's life, and that is Chest Day. And as you could tell from the title of this episode, it is the 4th annual version of what we are calling, in honor of Alex Trebek, Movie Jeopardy. We actually meant to do this in November. We've been trying to do it every year on the date of Alex Trebek's passing, which was November 7th. But we're a little bit late, but still had to honor the late, great game show host who we all love with a game of Movie Jeopardy. So if you're listening or watching us on YouTube, the screen will now have the game board we are going to play with. It's Cycli versus Thurmond today. And Thurman, before I go into the categories and then a real brief summary of how the rules will work, because it's pretty similar to Jeopardy, can you let the people know what the prize is that we are playing for, or that you and Cycly are competing for here tonight?
Yeah, so we went through a couple of ideas pre-pod, but what we came upon is that the winner is going to get to choose the loser's punishment, and the punishment is going to be watching a movie of their choosing and then having to write a high school or college style essay for that, and then reading it on the pod next episode. And then we'll also be posting that to the squad blog as well. So we went through a few ideas of humiliation. I think this will be one of the better ones. I want people to get that cold sweat feeling of getting in front of a class and having to read your paper. And I want that to come through to the audience. And I think it'll be pretty funny.
Hey, Thurman, I have a quick question. Have you seen Cannibal Holocaust?
Oh my God! Don't make me do that.
No.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Why would you motivate? You just lit a fire under him. He's like, I don't want to fucking watch that.
That sounds like an awful movie for me.
Thurman, before you even ask, he has seen Backdoor Sluts 1 through 9, so you'd have to go.
Yeah, but
all right.
I did, but that was only really to put the characters together in the development of getting to 9. Right. It's like I had to watch Star Wars 1, 2, 3 to get 4, 5, 6.
I figured he just watched like the first 30 seconds of each one, and that was it.
There's more than 30 seconds?
And he took a nap.
Wait.
Okay. I just napped through the last 30 minutes of it.
All the plot stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the screen now, you guys can see the game board, right?
No.
No, I just see us in a jungle.
Really?
Did
I'm sharing my screen. You can't see
Hold
it.
on, let me see if I can turn it off.
You probably fucked it up with the audience in the jungle view.
Yeah, can you erase that somehow?
I don't know how.
And then I'll share my screen again.
There we go. We did it.
Are we in Mowgli's amphitheater?
All right. So let me stop. The people at home are like, this is great podcasting. I still see us in Mowgli's amphitheater. I don't know.
Thank you for adopting that so quickly.
I see us back to normal. And I see this board. Do you see it, Nate?
No, let me see if I can change scene.
I apologize to everyone listening. This is I take full responsibility for this.
But you're
guys,
not.
This is
sorry.
on me. I'm like the NBA player who clearly made the foul.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys,
I had to fix it on my side. I'm good. I can see it.
Okay. Or you're like when Mark Sanchez throws a pick right to the defender. He's like, "That's my bad." We're like,
Guys,
"Yeah, we know you're the quarterback. You threw an interception."
That's on me.
Would it be?
Okay, here's how the game's going to work. We have 3 categories. I'll explain them in just one second. In just a second, I'm going to ask Cycly a question. If he gets it right, he will get to go first. If not, Thurman will go first. You'll pick a category and a dollar amount. You get it right, you get that much money. If you get it wrong, your opponent gets a chance to answer the question. Do you want to go? Let's not go negative for missing, right? Since we're going to give the other person a chance to answer.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I like that.
And then at the very end, I have a final Jeopardy question where you will get to wager an amount of money.
Wow.
All right, before we get to the categories, Cycly, am I watching right now on my TV my favorite professional basketball team's game or my college basketball team's game?
Favorite professional team's basketball game.
You're correct. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay. The 3 categories are MCU actors. I made this game board like 2 weeks ago, but I believe these are actors from the MCU, but it's other movies that they're in.
Okay.
The second category is funny actor, serious movie. These are typically comedic actors, but this is when they have ventured off into a more dramatic role. And the last category is ho, 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 spelled like the garden tool. But these are actually Christmas movie related questions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we need to answer in the form of a question?
I'll say no.
Okay.
But if you want to, I know Thurmond will.
I'm probably still going to. I do it when we play games that aren't Jeopardy.
Just in case. You never know when a game of Jeopardy you could be in one and you'll need to adopt that to get points. All right, Cycly, you are up. Anything on the board you can choose.
Let's do a funny actor series movie 300.
300. All right, the question. Steve Carell plays one of many executives losing their cool on the brink of the housing market collapse in what movie?
Oh my, Big Short.
Yes, The Big Short. And
You acted like you didn't know what that was.
I was like one of those like on the tip of your tongue, and I'm like, if I don't get this, I'm gonna be so mad.
Cycly, you are the puffin. It's technically
It's
a
a
penguin.
penguin, you sick son of a bitch.
And Thurman, I just gave you the potato. I hope you're cool
Thank
with that.
you.
Yeah, there was
Great.
there was a lot of food items. There wasn't like there was no proteins though. Was the problem?
That's fine. I like the potato. It's versatile.
Also, I have a quick question. It looks like Ho 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 100 is blanked out.
Yeah, remember I told you I removed one of the $100 questions, so there would be
did say that.
Even number of questions. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, chef.
You're welcome, chef. All right, Nate, anything on the board you would like? Just let me know.
Yeah, let's go MCU 2.
MCU actors for 200. Who plays the scene-stealing Grandmaster in Thor Ragnarok? So I guess I was wrong, and these are MCU questions.
Okay. It's who's Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, I was going to give you a hint like Pineapple Express. Fuck Jeff Goldblum, man.
I got that one.
I don't know. All kids at our school do like cool impressions of Jeff Goldblum.
Wait a second.
Wait, is it?
Oh, did you write? That is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Wrong Jeff. I put Jeff Bridges in there. That might be another answer too.
The cooler Jeff, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Jeff Goldblum. So now Cycly 300, Thurman
I feel
200.
like I need a review from the ref. This feels really rigged.
In what way?
That's right. I know it doesn't say the answer you gave, but you're absolutely right.
He reported eligible.
That's wow.
Very top.
Yeah, I talked to the ref.
By the time people listen to this, they'll be like, "What the fuck is that reference?" Cycly, you're up.
All right, we're gonna go Ho 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 for 300.
All right, this is a Christmas movie question. NPH, short for Neil Patrick Harris, starred in the Max original 8-bit Christmas that takes place in 1980 Chicago. In the film, a younger version of Neil Patrick Harris is trying to desperately raise money to purchase what for Christmas?
This movie was so good. It was so emotional. I feel like I don't remember correctly. I'm going to have to make a guess. Unfortunately, Tetris?
No.
Damn.
Thurman, you're up.
A Nintendo.
Yes, a NES.
Original.
Original,
yeah.
Good guess.
I went game. Damn. Should have thought system.
Yeah, but you're right, Cycly. Like it really doesn't matter what he's looking for because it ends up being sort of moot to the real point of the movie.
Yeah, very emotional, nice movie.
Sleeper, like emotional twist at the end, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, you're up 500 to 300, and the board is yours.
Let's go MCU 3.
All right, let's hope I have the correct answer for this one. What actress has played Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, and is really British?
I think I'm going to get this wrong.
Maybe this was hard.
$300.
This is a hard 300.
No. Who is Helen Mirren?
Ooh.
No.
She is British.
She is.
Are we okay? Atwell?
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
I can't remember the
I mean,
first
this
name.
feels like you
Samsonite.
This feels like you Googled it and you're like not getting the results you want, but yes, Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell. No, I remember the name.
She's also in a season 1 episode of Black Mirror and the new Mission Impossible.
What else was she in? Why?
That Christopher Robin movie with Ewan McGregor.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Cycle, you're bored. You're up 600 to 500.
Let's go funny actor serious movie 200.
Funny actor serious movie for 200. Adam Sandler actually gave a shit in this 2022 movie where he plays a basketball scout trying to find his passion for the game again.
Everything's on the tip of my tongue. I cannot remember. Damn it.
Sounds really slutty.
Coach Carter, Revenge of the Point Guard.
I mean, really Hollywood, if you're
effort.
Listening, make that movie.
I honestly know the movie. It is literally nowhere in my brain.
It's like Coach Carter's Revenge. Like, what's he mad about? All right, Nate, do you know this one?
What is Hustle?
You are correct.
Damn
Hustle. Let me click.
Nate, you're just stealing from me.
Got to get him somehow.
My screen is delayed. Don't think it added the.
I actually never saw it.
We're taking a TV timeout.
Yeah, what the
Word from our sponsor Zima. We haven't heard from them in a while, but they decided to come back. Sales have been down the last few years.
Do they still make Zima?
They got to.
Well, they don't, but
Like, why do they have to?
Oh no, contractually obligated.
Thurman, to your board, you're up $100. The score is 700 to 600. You.
let's go funny actor 500.
Funny actor for 500.
Yeah, let's get into it.
In what film does Robin Williams play a lonely man who becomes obsessed with a family after developing Polaroids of them over the years? Very dark film.
Yeah. Fuck. I have a title in my head, but no, that's not it. Oh.
Use your...
Shit.
What'd you say?
I was just going to say, use your framed strategy, right? Like, if you can just think of maybe what the movie's about.
What is 1 hour photo?
Fuck!
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
Job.
Man.
That might have been the game. That might have been the game.
It's a little early.
Yeah,
Plus, there's final.
That was a turn.
Yeah, we got final,
There's
too.
final Jeopardy, bro. All right, you're at 1,200 to 600. Cycling, it's back to you.
Man. We'll do funny actor series movie 400.
The actor series movie for 400. What cult classic stars Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson as they form an unlikely friendship while both staying at a hotel in Tokyo?
Lost in Translation?
That is correct.
He's back in it.
And we're back!
Too many seals. I'm leaving too many points on the board, Nate.
1,200 to 1,000. Thurman, you lead. It is your board.
Let's go ho, ho, ho 4.
Ho, 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 pimp for 4. Jason Bateman, Olivia Munn, T.J. Miller, Jennifer Aniston, and Kate McKinnon star in what holiday movie?
Oh, fuck. Olivia Munn, T.J. Miller. I feel like this has been popping up on Netflix recently. Wait, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. What is this one?
Sluts.
6.
Yeah, is it 6 or 7? No,
they lost they got rid of 7. I think they just want to push people towards 6.
What? Oh, crap! I can't think of it. What is This Is Where I Leave You?
No, great movie though with Jason Bateman. Cycling, do you know it?
I think Nate's right that it's been plugged a lot recently.
No, I think what I said is what I've been seeing.
Oh, I don't know. So over Christmas we had like a whole abundance of Christmas movies to watch. We did not watch this one, but it was like it's a Christmas party, something Christmas party.
Oh, damn it! Now, okay. I've never seen this, but I know what it is now.
I haven't seen something fun time Christmas party. No, I'm
sorry.
Office. I think it's Office Christmas party.
Yes, you're right.
Were you just fucking with us?
No, I was between House. Like there was a couple things
between that and your Atwell guess. We're getting very suspicious over here.
No, the Christmas party was definite. Like,
it's something Christmas party. I was like,
no, from the get-go. I knew
Jimmy
that from the
Butler
get-go.
is also in the movie.
Yeah.
And is it worth watching?
Yes, it's very good.
I've heard it's hilarious, but yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, but it's funny. All right, cycling back to you, and now you're up 1,400 to 1,200.
Wow.
Funny actor series movie 100.
That's the last question in the funny actor series category.
What
movie is surprisingly not about Michael Jordan? That is surprisingly not about Michael Jordan. Sees Jim Carrey on the brink of insanity as he cannot avoid a series of numerical patterns that all result in the same solution.
It's 23. The number 23.
Yes, correct. The number 23. Movie. I thought it was awful.
I just remember being like, it had some good points, and it was like 28 minus 5. Oh my god.
Yeah, he starts like, oh my god, I'm seeing it everywhere. Relax. The trailer is really good though. All right, cycling up 1,500 to 1,200, but it is Thurman's board.
Yeah, let's go ho 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 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of big money still left on the board, but I think people have preferred to take the steal it approach to a lot of those. All right, ho 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 for 2. In How the Grinch Stole Christmas, what is the name of the Grinch's trusty dog who aids him in his heist?
Dang it.
Something Christmas party.
Something Christmas
Something
party.
Atwell.
That is funny. I didn't realize.
I don't think we're going to get this one. What is Milo?
No, cycling.
Is it Max?
It is Max.
Max.
Good,
I was
both
close.
great dog names. Good guesses.
The M. Okay.
All right, Cycle, you're up 1,700 to 1,200, but we still have some big money left on the board.
100 MCU actors.
Leaving the big ones out there.
Yeah, MCU actors for 100.
I'm too scared of that.
All right, this is the who plays Tony Stark's mentor, Obadiah Stane, in the original Iron Man?
Jesus Christ, oh my God. What? It's been way too long. This is embarrassing for this pod. Office Christmas party.
Fire truck. What color is that red fire truck?
Jackal. It's a jackal. Fuck. Tony. Oh my God. This is gonna drive me crazy. Fuck. I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna get it wrong. Nate.
Oh, you're passing?
Yeah, I'm conceding. Yeah, I see his face.
Who is Jeff Bridges?
Damn
yeah,
it,
so if this says Jeff Goldblum, it's wrong. Okay, good. Jeff Bridges.
I was looking.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. All right, only big money left. We have two 500s and a 400. Nate, the board is yours. You are down 1,700 to 1,300. Chance to get back in the lead here or tie
Let's
it.
go MCU 5.
Nate knows my
MCU.
weakness.
For 5.
Well, I feel like I've done worse at the lower ones. So,
what famous singer/actor appeared in the post-credit scene of the Eternals, playing Eros, the brother of Thanos?
What famous singer actor? Good thing I've not seen the Eternals.
I know.
Trying to dig deep here. Who is Lizzo?
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
She just popped in my head because she was in
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
No, Cycling, do you know who it is?
She did not play the brother of Thanos. Shit. Oh my God. I haven't seen this movie either, so I'm trying to think of like
very famous singer actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin Timberlake.
No, the answer is Harry Styles.
Oh, wow.
If you said British, that would have been Styles with an H. The H's I can't get.
That's true. That's my one bugaboo. All right, we have 400 MCU actors left and 500 ho left. This is going down to the wire. Cycly, it's your board. You're up 1,700 to 1,300.
I don't know which one. I have a weakness in the MCU, and I like having more time to think. But that ho 500. Let's do the ho 500.
Wow.
All right, ho for 500. David Krumholtz plays the top elf in the Tim Allen film The Santa Claus. What is Krumholtz's character's name?
Wow. This is a $500 question. Oh my gosh.
Of the head elf in the Santa Claus.
It has been since I was a child, since I've seen this movie. Steven.
No, it is not Steven. Nate, you know what his name is.
What is Figaro?
Interesting guess. It is. We were looking for Bernard.
Oh,
damn it!
Of course, it's which is between Figaro and Steven.
Yeah,
that's true.
I feel like that's the middle ground.
Not alphabetically, but yeah, it is the. All right, Nate, you're last up. MCU actors for 400 to tie it, actually. Who was originally cast as Thor's friend Fandral, but had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts, only to get a chance to reprise the role in 2 subsequent sequels? So this person did not play Fandral in the first Thor, but did in Thor: The Dark World and briefly.
Was there a Fandral in the first one?
There was.
Played by someone else?
Josh Dallas played him, who then had to go star in Once Upon a Time on ABC.
Who is Idris Elba?
No.
That's
likely
a good guess,
no.
actually.
Well,
it's going to be a complete guess. Is it Steven or Figaro?
I don't think
Atwell,
Nate will think
Harvey.
I'm giving you preferential treatment. It's not Figaro. No.
it's not Steven Figaro.
It's not.
It is a famous
this one.
actor.
Yeah, that's why I'm just going to throw a guess at it.
He's probably bigger than this role.
Brad Pitt.
No, we were looking for Zachary Levi.
Don't even. Yeah, that guy.
He is
From the
Shazam. He is Chuck. He is Kurt Warner.
From the Levi Family Foundation.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The Boston Levi's.
All right.
Wow. Hey, tough questions there, Horns. Tough ones.
Too
Kept
hard.
us on our toes. No, I liked it.
All right. Close your eyes for 1 second. I'm going to double check the final Jeopardy question just so I can give you the category of it, if that's okay. Hang on. Let me move my screen here. Actually, if you want right now, you can text me your wagers. So Nate, you have $1,300, and Cycly, you have $1,700. Category will say 2023 movie.
That was a whole year ago.
It was.
You expect us to remember that?
Okay. You're living in the past, man.
All right, Cycly, you have wagered $901, and Thurman is wagering $700. So I will need your guys' help with the math on this, because I think the game. I can only pick one person to get the question right. So Cycly, you currently have 1,700, Nate 1,300, and again, Cycly is wagering 901. Nate is wagering 1,300. All right, here is the question. And I guess with the same thing, just text me your answers.
Okay.
In 2023, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck re-teamed again to star in a film together. What was it?
Not 100% sure on this, but I just went with my gut.
I went with my dick.
Nice.
That's the better way to go. I don't know why I didn't think that way. I don't even know if this movie was from 2023 that I sent. I don't know that they're both in it, and I don't even know if it was
Good Will Hunting was not 2023.
I see.
Cycly, not everything is backdoor sluts.
Wait, what? They were
So,
incredible in that.
Nate, refresh me on this. Do they show the players' answers first and then the correct answer? Or do they show the correct answer and then what players answered?
They just go like, yeah, they say the players' answers, and if they get it right, they say it.
Oh, okay. So, Cycly, you said Clerks 3, which is not correct. I think they are both in that, and that actually did come out pretty recently. But
yeah, was that 2022? I just couldn't remember the year.
Yeah, I can't remember. Nate, you guessed the correct answer, which is Air, which was also directed by Ben Affleck. So I will give you the green check for getting it right.
Congratulations, Nathan.
Congratulations. I think there's it does like a thing, right? Like fireworks? No?
We got sound effects though. That's cool.
Yeah, Clerks 3 was September 2022.
Wow.
Damn it.
Are they both in that also?
They usually are. Ben Affleck is 100%.
They usually are.
Well,
they're usually in Clerks 3 together.
They're always in the Jack. Oh my God, I almost called him Jack Black. Kevin Smith.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats, Nate. You win 2,002. What did Cycly lose? 901. $799. So you get to pick the movie for Cycly to watch and write his squad blog on for the next episode, which
if it's
Backdoor Sluts 10, once Disney took over, it lost it lost the whole plot. Can't do it. Not going to do it.
I might not even pick like what I think is like just like a horrible movie. I might just pick a movie that I think is good. And that no one else has watched.
Yeah, he's like, I might not even fuck with you. I might just
You're
actually.
You're a merciful God.
I have one in mind, so we'll see.
Can you give us the genre of the movie, or is that too much of a spoiler?
Yeah, you would probably classify it as action.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That could be any of the backdoor sluts. So like that does not.
Oh, there's some action.
There's a ton of action.
If you know how many. All right, good work, fellas. Congrats to all, but especially Nate Thurmond. We move on to the second part of our show, which is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. Let me start real quick with, I just want to plug 3 things that I watched, but we recorded content on, so I want the people to know it's out there, but I won't really talk about them. The first one is a Christmas with the Cranks movie commentary. I know the holiday season's over, but we did this, which is on our channel, as well as Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, which Cycler, we actually had to do twice. So if you want to tease the fans for anything for the second version, which was now released for our Home Alone 2, Lost in New York movie commentary, go for it.
Much less hate on the uncle this time around.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of it out of our system on the first go around.
Also, innate hatred for Pigeon Lady and nothing but love for our boy Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, it's a Tim Curry, basically like dick sucking fest, and then Pigeon Lady gets shat on like the people who
have pigeons on them.
Yeah. And then the last piece of content that Nate Thurmond and I actually did together was a spoilers review of the Netflix movie Leave the World Behind, which is up on the channel. So Nate, you want to tease anything about your thoughts on that to get the people to go check that out?
Yeah, when the trailer came out, I was obviously very intrigued with the cast and just the premise behind it. I could see this being polarizing with some people, the way it ended. I surprisingly am, I think, okay with how it ended. I think it gave me enough to chew on, that it didn't leave us high and dry. And I think there was enough resolve in it at the end of the day to make me happy. I thought it was a thoroughly good movie.
As did I. I've been actually reading online, like you said, very polarizing. Like some people did not like the ending, but I think I was pretty satisfied with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil much more. If people
no, yeah, we can't get into it much without spoiling it. But yeah, I mean, the actual very ending scene was hilarious and wholesome and fitting.
And some really cool like visual techniques in the movie also.
Yeah, whatever they did with the camera work was pretty awesome.
All right, Cycle, let's start with you. What is something you have seen lately?
Yeah, it's been a busy couple months, traveling, surgery, holiday, so I haven't gotten to do as much a deep dive in new shows or movies that I've wanted to. But one thing, like I said earlier about when we're talking about Office Christmas Party, over Christmas we kind of like try to find new Christmas movies that we haven't seen. And a few years ago, and this is actually on my list, now we watch Krampus every year. And Jeff, I know you've seen Krampus. I don't know, Nate, if you have. Kind of a horror comedy,
You and I did. Sorry to interrupt. You and I did a commentary on it, I believe, on our channel.
I was a blind commentary, at least on my part, I believe. I couldn't remember if you had seen it before.
I think once or twice, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go 2 parts. So like Krampus is really entering that realm of cult classic. Came out 2015, I think. Amazing cast. And now it's really one of those movies that kind of just enter the rotation, right? It's not an easy way to enter the Christmas rotation, right? Most of us have just the standards one that you watch every year, but the cast itself, who let's see,
Adam Scott.
Yeah,
who's
Adam
the girl
Scott,
from
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette, yeah,
absolutely incredible.
David Koechner.
Who is always he's the same guy in The Office, right? He's always that, and in Anchorman. Like he's always like just absolutely ridiculous.
And then Thurman will like Allison Tolman, who is in I believe season 1 of Fargo. She's the pregnant cop.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
Honestly, it's an hour and a half, but there's a lot that happens in it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It does have some good horror elements, and it has some obviously comedic elements. It is ridiculous. The premise itself is ridiculous. Krampus is like the anti-Santa. He comes to punish those who have lost their faith in Christmas. And it is a real lore thing from Germans and Europeans that like had this belief, like just like Santa. It's not like Krampus was made up for this movie. And actually, I'm pretty sure there are a number of Krampus horror films if
Yeah.
you just type in Krampus on Amazon. But my wife and I went to, there's a German beer garden here where we live, and they have a big outdoor screen where usually they play sports, but they did a Krampus event, and it was awesome. They literally halfway through the movie, when Krampus makes his first appearance in the movie, all of a sudden the movie pauses and everyone thinks something's wrong, and it stops with Toni Collette's face like in shock, looking up. And everyone's like, "What the hell happened?" And then we all turn around, and there's a real live Krampus on the
Oh
roof
yeah,
of
you
the
sent me a
brewery.
photo of that. That was
Yeah, it
sick.
was so cool, and they had like music and smoke, and it was like, I know, it was really
God.
cool. Like, I love that this movie's kind of catching on as this like new thing. I don't think it was that big of a deal when it came out. So yeah, I love it. It's definitely entered the rotation. If you like just kind of, again, ridiculous movies, if you don't need to watch the same type of Christmas movie over and over, but like way too happy and cheerful, Krampus is a great spin on it. So that will I'll go to my next one after you guys, but Krampus kind of led me to the next movie we watched. So you guys go ahead, and I'll continue my thought after.
There aren't many of these films out there. I don't even think enough to consider it like a subgenre, but I do love like horror Christmas movies. Like Black Christmas,
Yes.
both versions I've seen are another one of my favorite films. There's another movie I saw. It's like an anthology film. I'll have to look it up, but I think it's called like horror. I don't know. There's a couple other them, but there's not a
They're
lot of them.
fun.
But I always love
No,
them.
that's what I'm saying. It's fun to throw in the rotation because it's different. Like this movie is it's about family and a young son who's the only one who believes in Santa, and the parents are getting older and they don't really like each other as much anymore. He has an older sister who they're not as close, and these asshole cousins. And it's just, I mean, it does have an element of seriousness, but it's also absolutely ridiculous. So I recommend it. Nate, you should absolutely watch it next Christmas.
I can't watch it until then.
No,
Nope.
that'd be.
Don't even.
I'm
Don't
a
even.
very firm believer is watching Christmas movies anytime outside of like
It's
late
weird.
November and December are weird.
Yeah.
It
A
feels
Christmas.
weird. I can't even watch Muppets Christmas Carol right now.
A Christmas horror story is the one I was thinking of. Cycling. I'll talk to you about it offline, but
Oh yes,
I
please.
think this is one you would fucking love. It's almost like Trick or Treat because it's like four anthology stories that come together in like a really cool twist.
That's totally my jam.
And Krampus in it is fighting Santa Claus. Krampus is trying to kill all the elves.
Oh my god. Yeah, man.
Nate, what's in your cup? What have you seen lately?
Let's see here. What do I want to go with? Watched just the other night for the first time ever Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was fantastic.
What's that streaming on?
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, you can rent it if you want. I had it on YouTube TV and I recorded it on my DVR there.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously just one of the classic comedies from back in the day that I'd never gotten to, and it definitely held up. Steve Martin is a kind of not really traveling sales guy. He's a marketing guy. John Candy's a traveling sales guy. They meet up. It had a lot of Tommy Boy vibes. There's a lot of road tripping in a car that gets destroyed at some point, but they still drive it.
Right.
There's a little bit of Odd Couple in it too, two opposing guys being stuck together for a long period of time. But the one thing, the recording I watched, it was obviously from a TV version, so some of it was edited. I need to go back and rewatch it.
I actually kind of love watching like what the poor people have to try and like dub in for certain words.
Yeah, there's a fuck laden dialogue that Steve Martin delivers to somebody, and I just don't think it had its full punch with it bleeping it out. So I need to go back and watch it.
I remember back in the day watching like Old School or Wedding Crashers on TNT or TBS, and it was just like, what are we even doing here, guys?
It's one of the rare. I always appreciate the movie because we're starting to get a few more now, but it was like one of the few, maybe only Thanksgiving movies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's always, we got plenty of Halloween. Obviously, we get plenty of Christmas. It's always, whether in movies and in real life, Thanksgiving sometimes is an afterthought, being caught in between. And I don't know, I always enjoyed it because it was like the only one that did that. We're getting more now, but makes it unique, I think.
But yeah, we've talked about that a lot on Pod, and maybe that's even worth doing a future episode on, which is like, why is Thanksgiving so forgotten in terms of movies? I mean, obviously the movie Thanksgiving came out this year, which I really liked, but Like, it's just not a holiday that gets portrayed on film near as much as it should, I feel like.
Yeah. But yeah, this one had plenty of good jokes in it. But then at the ending, it resolves nicely with a heartfelt moment once it all ties it together with a nice bow on it.
I was going to say, we were talking
John
about
Candy. What a legend.
Yeah.
Big time. We were talking about 8-Bit Christmas having a sort of like emotional twist at the end. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles set the template for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Good one. All right, I watched a movie called The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti. This is actually getting some Oscar buzz. Have either of you guys heard of this?
I know. I've seen the trailer. I've seen all the buzz about it.
I have heard about it, yeah.
I highly recommend it. I think both of you guys would love it. It's a really good watch with the wife as well. It is a film that takes place in, I believe it's like late 70s at a Massachusetts boarding school. And Paul Giamatti plays a teacher. And every year at this boarding school, one teacher has to stay and watch the holdovers, which are the kids. And it's usually a very small number of them, but it's the children or the students who are not able to go home for the holidays, like for Christmas break, because their families are either out of town.
Like Harry Potter.
Sort of, yeah. And obviously there's various reasons why they can't go home to see their families for Christmas, but it's a job no one ever wants as far as teachers go, because number one, you have to stay at the school over Christmas break, but also the kids you're staying with are usually, for lack of a better term, neglected by their families. And so they're pretty spiteful and upset and ornery. And Paul Giamatti plays a teacher at the school who is tasked with this, and you kind of learn throughout the movie, and this is revealed in the trailer, a lot of it, that he really doesn't have anyone to go home to either. So even though he's sort of a bitter old man, he can relate to the students in that regard of sort of not having anyone to spend the holidays with. And I wouldn't really describe it as like a dramedy. It's definitely more drama than comedy, but I think Giamatti is going to get a Best Actor nom for it. And Psych, I don't want to say this is going to be in my every year Christmas rotation, but this might be like an every other year one, because I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it. I think this is the time of year where I try to catch up on all the movies that are most likely getting nominated or will be nominated for Oscars. So yeah, that was definitely on the list. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it.
I gave it a Brosker nomination for Best Picture, Bros Best Picture.
Ooh.
So if it got that nomination, then the Oscars have to follow suit. They're not going to be wanting to embarrass themselves again.
Right. They've already been asking, when can we get the spreadsheet? When can we get the spreadsheet? I said, fuck off. I will send it to you when it's ready. It's not ready.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we need to have an offline conversation the next couple of weeks, because we got to
the season.
Start voting. Tis the season. All right. I only have one more, but I'll go last to close this out. Cycly, what else do you have?
So kind of carrying on from what I was saying. So like Krampus was discovered a few years ago with you as like, hey, let's find a new Christmas movie that kind of changes things up. I introduced Krampus with friends, and everyone loved it. And so now it was kind of like an annual tradition to find a new offbeat Christmas movie. And we found what was labeled a black comedy with Keira Knightley called Silent Night. Now,
I'm so interested in this. I think I might watch it tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm going to do, this is going to be tough because it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it. So the movie itself, there's two Silent Nights. There's 2023. There's a new one last year, and this is 2021. Keira Knightley's really the biggest name. I mean, maybe you guys know there's Matthew
Good. I love Matthew Good. He's the villain in Watchmen.
Yes. Okay. And then he was familiar. And then Roman Griffin Davis, Annabelle Walsh. I don't know. Some of these are kids. So again, it kind of okay. We literally decided to pick this film because again, black comedy, much like Krampus. The poster for this movie has this family, and in the foreground, and in the background there are like dust tornadoes. So we're just like, what is this? Christmas with naders? It looks ridiculous, and it's a black comedy. We're like, all right, this looks like post-apocalyptic.
Sorry, real quick. Is this streaming on anything, or did you guys have to like rent it VOD?
We rented it, I believe. I don't know if it is streaming on anything. I didn't. I remember we were just like, we picked it, and let me see if it is streaming. If you have AMC Plus,
I can look it up while you.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Amazon for rent. Without giving anything away, guys, I don't know who decided to describe this as a comedy. It's one of the most fucked up films I've ever seen, and that's saying something because I love my fucked up films. and it's not like fucked up in the sense of like gore and horror, and it's just the concept, the overall story is basically a family. It's Christmas Eve, and they have friends over for Christmas.
What
Friends
year
and
does this
family
take
over.
place in? Is it like
I think
contemporary?
modern times. Yeah, I think so. And essentially, there's shit going on in the world, and there's something serious going on in the world where they're trying to shield their kids because there's a bunch of kids at this Christmas party that family's hosting it. Keira Knightley's family's hosting it. There's about like 6 or 7 kids at the house, and a few adults, and you can tell the conversations. At first, the movie seems really light, and like there's the usual Christmas stress. They're cooking the Christmas Eve dinner, and drinks, and it's just like there's just like really subtle unease. There's really just like uncomfortableness going on, and then as you realize what's happening, um, it really turns dark, and the children who are being convinced of something by their parents. I think the dilemma of having children and telling them the truth of what's happening versus shielding them from and protecting them and letting them keep their innocence is a fundamental conversation of this film. Again, nothing comedic about it, guys. Like, sure, there's like a joke or two, right? Like during dinner. Like, I mean, even Schindler's List had a laugh, or Godfather, right? Like, you can't label comedy just because there's one joke in the film. I really enjoyed it. The performances are fantastic. Um, I just think the label of comedy threw us off completely. The tornadoes threw us off completely. Um, to the point that everyone in the room who would look at the girl who suggested it, and we're like, "What the fuck? Why would you suggest this movie?" And you know how much I love fucked up movies. I was like, "Well, I'm kind of liking it." Uh, and all I'll say is, if you know the story of Joseph Goebbels at the end of the Nazi reign, it's basically an hour and a half version of what happened with his family. So that's what I'll tell you.
Spoilers.
So yeah, for real. So on IMDb, Cycly, they have this listed as a comedy under 3 different subgenres. They have dark comedy, holiday comedy, and just comedy. Now on the Real Good app, which I use to show me like what streaming services a movie is on, it just has it as a drama and horror. So
I want you to watch it and tell me, like, we kept pausing it and we're like, where is the comedy?
like is it like British dry wit where it's just like going over our heads?
Yes, there is definitely elements of comedy. They're friends, they're getting together, but like it's not Krampus like dark comedy, right? Like there's none of that.
Is there even an element, and I know Nate will appreciate this, of like Coen Brothers comedy where you're like laughing because you're uncomfortable? Like I was thinking Burn After Reading, the Brad Pitt scene.
Yeah. Oh, that face
closet.
he makes. I love it so much. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's a few times I laughed and comfortable laughs and genuine jokes. But again, when you really break down the subject matter and the way the children are behaving, the way the parents are dealing with the children, it takes you out of that comedic element because it's a very serious. Like I was watching it with 2 new parents, and my sister, who has, I talked about my sister and her niece on the pod, my niece on the pod. My sister loved fucked up movies and loved horror movies as much as I do, and she still does. But she always said the second she became a parent, like she looked at these movies differently.
Yeah.
And
well, it's funny too because that same niece said to us when I saw her over Christmas break, "When are we going to be old enough to where you guys can tell us the truth about things?"
Yeah, she did. Yes.
I was like, wow.
And I was like, it made me think of that. So like it really added the sense of realism to it. So I'm excited about you watching it, Jeff. Like I really would love to get your thought. Maybe you'll be at a place where you're like, no, I thought it was more dark comedy. Maybe it was the element of how I watched it. But at the end of the day, it is a very serious. It's very serious subject matter. And one that I think most parents have to deal with. I'm obviously not a parent, so it's hard for me to say, but it felt very real to me.
It's got Roman Griffin Davis from Jojo Rabbit in it.
Oh,
that's where she's from. He's.
You don't know who I'm talking about.
I know I do.
You're lying.
Lily Rose Depp was in it too.
Atwell.
Okay.
What?
No, the kid. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in.
Lucy Punch is in it too. She's been in a bunch of stuff also.
No, I know the kid. That's my fault. I said the wrong pronouns.
Follow up.
In my defense, I've been drinking a decent amount of whiskey.
Cycly, have you seen Triangle of Sadness?
I have not.
Okay, never mind. Then I won't ask you to compare this movie to that. Have you seen Force Majeure?
No, but I write it daily in my contracts.
Okay, well, can you, since you haven't seen either one of those, please compare this movie to both of those.
You can give me freely. You can assign these to me.
No, I don't want to waste my gift on that.
Yeah, he's like, I have a game plan that I'm.
Yeah. Now that you said the kid
Yeah.
from Jojo Rabbit, he's very like the performances in the film are fun. I think is what makes this different. Like I really enjoyed it. It gives it a sense of realism, and he was amazing in Jojo Rabbit. But very difficult subject matter again for him.
Yeah, this may be different than Triangle of Sadness, but it sounded familiar, so I want to see if you.
Cycly, did you ever see
compare.
Malignant?
That one is a horror movie with a kid, right?
It's where the girl has the tumor.
No, I have not seen this one. I was picturing the poster that's like red.
You have to see Malignant. It's James Wan, the guy that wrote and directed Saw, is the writer-director, and it came out in 2021. It talk about like a horror, I wouldn't say comedy, but
I think I have seen this poster.
There's a lot of like Saw imagery in it. You would like, but anyway, Annabelle Wallis, who's I think one of the daughters in Silent Night, is the main character in that.
Okay, cool. I mean, this is my list. Yeah, no, I recommend the movie. Just be prepared. Is all I'm saying. Don't be misled with the comedy. And if I lowered your expectations and you find it comedic, then I'm glad I did that for you.
I will go in expecting an over/under of 0.5 laughs, and we'll see where we end up.
There'll probably be a few. There'll probably be a handful.
All right, Nate. What else you got?
Let's see here. I watched A Haunting in Venice a couple weeks ago.
It's on Hulu, right?
It's is that what it's on? I think so. Yeah, it's on Hulu. Really enjoyed this one. I mean, I really enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express. Death on the Nile was probably my third favorite out of these three.
Okay. That's fair. Death on the Nile is not strong, I feel like.
Yeah, this one is up there. It competes with Murder on Orient Express. I like the mystery of the killing and how that unfolds. And there were some more frightening / horror scenes in this than I thought there were going to be. There's one, I don't think there's much of a spoiler, but there's a seance scene at one point, and I mean, I got scared a little bit. I was going to say, I feel like you're like under 15. I'm 35 and I still got a little scared. It was frightening to me, but I don't like horror films that much, but this wouldn't go into the horror genre. But like I said, more frightening scenes than I thought they were going to be going into it. I thought Tina Fey did a great job playing a role that really hadn't seen her done much of. Yeah, overall, I thought it was really great. It ranked up there with all the other Hercule Poirot, Agatha Christie movies that are out there.
It's the year of Michelle Yeoh as well.
Yeah. She played a kind of creepy medium seance woman, but pulled off really well.
And I see Jamie Dornan's in the cast. I know a lot of people shit on him for the 50 Shades of Grey, but I saw him in a movie this year with Gal Gadot, a Netflix action movie called Heart of Stone, and he was really good in it. Like, I was pretty impressed. I was like,
well, anyone's going to look good acting next to Gal Gadot.
I mean, that is true. I can't remember. I saw Heart of Stone too. It was enjoyable. I don't remember his performance much.
He was her partner. I won't spoil what happens to him, but yeah. Nate, if this is a spoiler, then you can just refrain from answering it. But this movie in the trailer definitely gave me some supernatural vibes, which I thought was interesting because the first two Poirot movies are just straight up whodunit murder mysteries.
Yeah.
Would you say that is accurate, or is that definitely like a plot point?
I would say that, I mean, it's part of it. There's more to it than that I won't say. But there is a supernatural aspect to the plot for sure.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yep.
So you put this again behind Murder on the Orient Express and pretty far ahead of Death on the Nile, or is it close?
Yeah, I think so. Murder on the Orient Express and this one are pretty close. I like the way this one played out. The way they got him back into the detective work because he was retired. And then they kind of leave it on a thread just in case they want to throw another movie out there. So
I'm glad you mentioned this because after Death on the Nile, I was kind of like,
yeah,
I like Murder on the Orient, but
yeah, I like this one a lot. It was solid.
And it clocks in at an hour 43, which was probably
Yeah.
the shortest.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, Death on the Nile was, where's it at? 2 hours 7 minutes. So good.
It's 2 hours 6 minutes too long for that one.
You just wanted a 1 minute.
I just want a trailer.
I did not like that movie. That one, like, I like Murder on the Orient Express. Like this one, I remember my wife and I like over and over and over had to just stop and be like, I don't like. We got through it, but I don't know why we didn't like it so much. It just was not good to us.
Yeah. Well, and then the cast does not age well. Like Armie Hammer and Russell Brand. Even Letitia Wright has had some controversial things to say.
Well,
it happens. All right,
you got?
Last thing, I saw Wonka in theaters.
Oh,
Willy Wonka prequel.
Yeah.
In my Letterboxd review, I described it as whimsical as fuck.
Oh, okay. I like.
Was that your entire review? I really hope it was just like.
I should go back and edit it and just make it that whimsical as fuck. 3.5 out of 5. I actually really enjoyed Wonka. I'll say this: the songs, no bangers. Nothing even as catchy as anything in the OG Willy Wonka, so the music is a bit of a weakness. Love the world building, and I love every character in this. Olivia Colman is awesome in it. She plays like this like mean woman who's kind of like holding Willy Wonka, like forcing him to like pay her money as part of this deal. Keeping Michael Key is great in this. There are 3 like other chocolate factory owners in it who are great foils. But this movie succeeds, and even Hugh Grant is great as like the lead Oompa Loompa, the OG Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
But this movie succeeds in spite of Timothée Chalamet, who I think is completely awful and miscast in this role.
Wow. Okay.
He looks like he's being forced at gunpoint to enjoy himself the entire time. And obviously, like, he's playing a younger version of Gene Wilder's character, so I understand, like, he's not as fleshed out, but he comes across as like a Forrest Gump level way where he's like he doesn't have the mental faculties that everyone else in this world does. Like he's like missing basic common sense. And in fact, and this is a plot point, I don't think this is a spoiler, but his character is illiterate, which they use a lot in the plot to like different gags, which is, whatever. But he's awful in this, but somehow it still works in spite of him because everything else is so much fun.
So are you a big fan of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Like,
I actually like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory more than a lot of people. I think I like some elements of it more than I do like depth specific performance, but I love the OG Willy Wonka.
Okay. So like I've never so do you think I've always been indifferent to them? Like I don't hate them and I don't like particularly like I don't seek them out to rewatch. I've always watched them. Is this like something that you think me as a neutral? Is it worth me watching? Does it have additional elements?
I think so. And like Wonka's like his backstory in it is pretty cool, but also it does like a good job. Like a lot of times with prequels, you're like, oh, well, this is going to be a tough story to tell because we know exactly where it has to end up. And even though this does end up in a pretty good like jumping off point for the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I don't ever feel like the movie is like at a disadvantage because of that, which is kind of fun. But I want to get your opinion and maybe anyone else who sees it on Chalamet, because I was like, dude, this kid, like, he's a great dramatic actor. He just does not have the chops to do this.
Okay, I was actually going to ask that. I was like, do you have any bias against him, or like, do you not like him as an actor? I was curious about like whether that like factored into his performance for you.
No, I think he's great. When I think of him, though, I think like Dune and like Little Women and Lady Bird, things like that. I don't think like again him trying to like have fun and be silly just feels so forced.
Okay,
like it's almost like he had to learn how to like. I went to study human beings to see how they have fun. That's what I felt like Timothée Chalamet was doing for this role. It feels like if Jared Leto was like had to play like an average person, like how would he even go about it?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, seeing like how weird of a character Wonka is, I wonder if like he got some direction to go that way, but he just wasn't able to nail it how they wanted it to show up on the screen.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was like told to like I wonder same thing with Alden Ehrenreich when he had to play Han Solo. Like how much are you told to try and mirror what Gene Wilder did versus because he is a younger version of it. So I don't know. For me, he just didn't work, but the movie still
like,
somehow was good.
Yeah, I
Give
feel
it a
like
shot.
this will be a free once it's on streaming. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure like which service it will be on, but I'm sure the second it leaves theaters. I saw it in theaters like last week, so it's still crushing. I think it actually beat Aquaman 2 at the box office, and Wonka's
That's
been up
just
for like
kind
3
of
weeks.
fucked up.
It's a little bit. Superhero movie opens first weekend, everyone's like, "No, I'll see Wonka."
Again.
Right. All right, that brings us to the last part of our show. No Brian Banner here to do the bird noise, but it is our "Do You Even Lift Bra" segment, which is the question and answer part of our show. And the question we've been asking you, or I guess ourselves, for the last, I don't know, year and a half is, what are the Bros' top 100 movies of all time? We have been counting down the list. It is linked in the description of this podcast. Before we dive into it, Cycly, why don't you tell the people at home, if they have not listened to our show before or if they just don't remember, how would you describe these top 100 lists that we are counting down? Because as I always say, it's not like the IMDb or the AFI's greatest 100 pieces of cinema ever made. It's a little bit different.
No, it's a unique list to you. And I actually have had people who've listened to the pod make comments to me, be like, "Oh man, one person's list is so weird. One person's the other." Like, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. It's your list, right? Like, you can't compare someone else's to yours, or you can't say, well, that person liked a bad movie and their list is trash. It's something that's unique and special to you for whatever reason, and you don't have to defend it. Maybe you do have Godfather as your top, your number one, and maybe you hate that movie, and that's okay. Here, it's a safe space, and this is your list, and no one can stop you from that.
Beautifully said. Nate, we will let you start us off. Right now on the countdown, you and Cycly just did your number 48 movie of all time. So if you guys are cool with it, we'll have you each do 47 and 46 tonight, and then we'll let the people go. Nate, your number 48 was Gladiator.
Wait.
I'm sorry, yours was Jojo Rabbit. Cycly, yours
I was like, wait, we had the same one?
So Nate was Jojo Rabbit, Cycly was Gladiator, and mine was The Truman Show. And just to let you know how different these lists are, Banner's was Tron Legacy.
I still need to watch that. I've heard good things.
I love Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
It's coming up on my list. Let me just put
Nice.
Haven't gotten to Geiger's yet. So, Thurman, what is one ahead of Jojo Rabbit at number 47 on your list?
One ahead of Jojo Rabbit is the 2012 Ben Affleck directed movie Argo.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've become a pretty big fan of Ben Affleck as a director. He's put out some good stuff. I mean, you have The Town, you have this Argo, Air. One of the ones that I don't think a lot of people talked about came out a couple of years ago, Tender Bar. I really enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, me too.
But the Argo coming on the tail of The Town, which is very highly touted, I know as well. Yeah, this one I think is just really well done. It builds suspense really well. I'm a big fan of well done real life stories that are turned into cinema, and this is one of them. And I love
a wild story in and of itself.
That's the craziest part, is that this is how they got them out of a foreign country under fire. They basically built this movie studio. They built a movie, or they pulled an old script out and used it as a fabrication to get all these people out of the embassy. But like I said, I think it builds a lot of good tension. I mean, there's a ton of good actors with John Goodman, Ben Affleck, Alan Arkin in it. They all do a fantastic job. And like I said, there's something about the way Ben Affleck directs the movies that really appeals to me. He does a really great job. Some of the way it's shot, some of the grittiness of it, you get the feel of like The Town as well. But yeah, I think it's just really well done film by him, and keeps me coming back for more every time.
This won some Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it won best movie.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because they've got one of those like Hollywood loves Hollywood movies. Like Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it won, it was like, it was a big thing.
And like, there's a ton of tense scenes out there, but one of the most tense scenes, obviously, one of the culmination of the movie at the end, is when they're trying to get through customs or security, and they're trying to make the plane, and my butthole's puckered every time, and just sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for them to get. I know they're going to get out, but it still builds that anxiety. And I don't know, maybe it might turn out different the next time I watch it. We'll see.
Yeah. It's like me when I watch old sports. Like, hey, if I watch it one more time,
maybe he will catch it this time.
No, he won't. Nice, good one.
Yeah, won
Yep.
Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Affleck was
Jesus.
not nominated for Best Director.
See, how does that happen when it wins all those other awards?
Yeah,
So it's the best movie, but the best director doesn't even get a nomination. Yeah, that makes sense.
that never has made sense to me. I'm like,
No, the
aren't
movie
they-
was great, but not because of you. He's like, but I
Yeah.
literally made it.
It somehow succeeds in spite of you.
Yeah,
My argument for Wonka.
slap in the face.
Which is like 6 movies, I think, even get nominated, or 6 directors. It's like, Jesus, dude, I'm not one of the top 6.
No.
All right, Cycly, what is one ahead of Gladiator, which was your number 48, at number 47 on your list?
So it's really funny that I have Gladiator and then this next movie because they're both kind of related to my father. I think I talked about Gladiator as like one of the movies I remember watching with him, and that was the first DVD we ever bought. I've talked about it on the pod 1,000 times. My dad is a huge James Bond nerd. It was the first date he ever took my mom on. It's literally the movies he puts on just in the background when he's working at home. So my next movie is Austin Powers. And
Ooh,
Oh my God, that's
and-
my number 47.
you're
wow,
joking. Are you serious?
Yes, Austin Powers International Man of Mystery is my
Holy
number
shit!
47.
that's amazing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a damn. Wow, that's amazing.
It's the first one?
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the same with here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Well, it's funny to me because like the movie holds up to this day on the comedic element. I'm actually like sometimes can too much Mike Myers. Like I'm not like he's not as bad as Adam Sandler is sometimes. Obviously Adam Sandler has some really good movies lately, but like overall, like Mike Myers can be a little irritating. Love Guru, things like that. It's like, dude, you got a shtick, we get it. But like Austin Powers, really in the heyday of Mike Myers when like Wayne's World and all that kind of stuff, like just absolutely amazing comedic film performances, really just like an entire performance by a cast that like didn't have the I don't know. I don't think it had the right to be as funny as it is. Like overall, the choreography of the dancing, the music, everything that went around representing the 60s into the 90s, what a character did. But for me, it was really the slaps, the insults to James Bond. Like this movie really is just a satire at James Bond and those type of British films at the core. And I remember my dad was like almost offended watching this movie for the first time. And not from like the sexual stuff, not from like the innuendos or anything else. It's like he's like they're
Because
making
it's
fun of it.
lampooning what he loves.
Yeah, it's literally making fun of the ridiculousness of some James Bond. And obviously the funny thing is my dad actually like loved the movie. It was like something he didn't want to admit. Right? Like he would watch it and laugh and he'd see us laugh. He's like, no, this is stupid. He's like, James Bond had class. I'm like, dude, James Bond literally had sex with like 8 women a movie. What are you talking about? Like, and I don't know, the movie itself comedically, like Dr. L, that kind of stuff. Like, I think I look back and I can put this movie on now, and it does not feel I've watched a film that's aged from the 90s. We're crazy enough 25 years past it now. I mean, we're almost to the point like they made a
Wow.
movie about the 90s, about the 60s, right? So we're almost at the point to where like Austin Powers
Damn.
is now.
No,
Like,
literally, yeah.
Yeah, like literally, if you made a movie about the 90s right now, it's kind of like when people talk about that 70s show. But the movie hasn't aged. And obviously, I really like, the Spy Who Shagged Me and Goldmember. But this one has like there's not really any flaws to this movie. It's perfectly, it's perfectly timed. It doesn't have any lags. The comedy doesn't get old and it's not stagnant. It doesn't repeat itself too much. And when it does repeat itself, it's repeating itself for impact and effect. And so I absolutely love this movie. But my dad, again, I think if you ask my dad to this day, he'll be like, that's a stupid movie. But you'll catch him watching it and laughing at it.
And I think the biggest compliment I can give to this, and this is like the weakness of all the other parody movies that come after it, like the scary movies and superhero movie and all that, is this movie, like the humor is not necessarily derivative of it making fun of James Bond. Like you could never have seen a James Bond movie and still find this film hilarious. Like it's not so dependent on like, oh, that guy, like even Dr. Evil. Like as a kid, I honestly did not know he was Dr. No. I just thought he was this hilarious bald guy who was like
everything.
Right. So like none of that stuff like I made the connection with, but I still found the characters and the jokes hilarious.
Nothing still makes me laugh as hard. It's the stupidest thing, but when Austin Powers is in the little cart and he gets stuck between the
Oh
walls.
my god!
I know that's the stupidest form of humor, but
Did you-
Jesus, I cannot but lose it at that scene.
Physical comedy at its best.
Because the camera
way
cuts away.
He looks back.
Yeah, and it cuts. Like, how did he get the car in that position?
So
It makes no
It's a
sense.
great guide. It's incredible. I'm glad this is on your list, and we were wondering if any of us would have the same movie at the same
that's
spot. So that's
insane. I
fucking
had
wild,
no
yeah.
idea. Wow.
all right, Nate. We will end
stuff.
your list today with your number 46. Nate, what is one ahead of Argo at 46? And just so people know, Banners was the 2021 Jungle Cruise movie, and
Every time I hear a
mine
Banners
was.
one, it cracks me up.
I know his list is the best, and then mine was the first Rush Hour.
Ooh, the first Rush Hour, nice. My number, I can't remember. 46. Is that where we're at?
Yes, sir.
I already have
Yeah.
them. I already know what the movie is. I'm not looking at the list. But it
So one ahead
is
of Argo.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
OG. Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
the OG. I mean, I should just watch this last week again for the, I don't know, umpteenth time. And I mean, it's one of those. It's obviously made way before, but something like Old School or something like Dumb and Dumber that we'll watch over and over. I will never not find this funny. It started off one of the funniest franchises out there, in my opinion. And even ones after this, up all the way to Vegas Vacation, are hilarious, and I'll watch them over and over again. But yeah, it's one of those ones that you saw a lot since it came out in '83. Growing up, you found it funny then, and then you keep watching it, and then you find it funnier and funnier, and then you pick up on little things throughout it too that you didn't get it when you watched it when you were first 12 or 13 or whenever it was. Like when Rusty and his cousin are looking at the dirty magazines, and he talks about using a magazine. He's like, "How do you use a magazine?" When you're first watching that, you don't know. Oh, we talk about masturbating. Totally went over my head, but now it's a hilarious line, like using a magazine. You get the introduction of Cousin Eddie, who gives so much over the next decade with these vacation movies. I mean, he may be the funniest part of these all, even though he's not the starring role. He comes in, he does his part well. I don't think he's dead, but he's kind of crazy at this point. Randy Quaid.
Yeah, he's psychotic.
Yeah. He's had a few
it.
issues. But back in his heyday, man, he was spewing out some good stuff. But yeah, like I said, I just watched this again last week. It was on and stopped down on it, and everything was just as funny as I've seen it every time before.
When they tie the dog to the car and forget about it.
God, you know what the fine for animal cruelty is in the state? No, I don't. I bet it's pretty stiff.
Poor guy probably kept up with us for the first mile or so.
Yeah.
You probably knew this, but in Christmas Vacation, when Clark serves Eddie some eggnog in his house, they use two of the glasses that they got from Wally World with the moose ears.
Oh yeah, he's holding on. Yeah, the handle is the moose. The moose's
so good.
antler. This is the all-time classic right here.
Very good. Do you know off the top of your head, is this the highest ranked vacation movie that you have? Just a little tease.
It's not.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very
The
interesting.
one with Ed Helms is like number 2.
Obviously.
They put
and
up,
then European
they put up some
Vacation.
good ones, yeah. They put out some good ones recently, guys. You don't know
Or
about it.
Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, which is a real movie.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
more
might
to
be
come.
the
Blind.
movie Thurman assigns me, actually.
more to come with the vacation movies.
Awesome. I believe I have another one coming as well.
Yeah.
All right, Cycly, to end the show tonight, what is your number 46? One ahead of Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Another movie from the 90s. A movie that was panned by critics, but at this day, I think everyone reveres it. It is Robin Williams as Peter Pan in the film Hook.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I cannot believe how
We did a
I
commentary on this too.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it has I think last time I looked it up, it was like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics.
Which I just don't
like.
get.
I mean, obviously this is from the 90s, so I think people who
That's
revisit it,
insane.
it's like a lot of people revisit it and be like, oh, actually it's amazing. Steven Spielberg.
But it was also
like,
Spielberg, yeah.
yeah. Steven Spielberg was told it was his worst movie. He apologized for it. it's so bizarre because when you watch it, it is. I mean, Robin Williams at his best, and why we as children in the '90s fell in love with him. Outside of his ridiculous humor, he had the charm, the charisma, that like fatherly, like that fatherly love that we got, and it just seemed like you could always be taken care of by Robin Williams. Um, in the '90s, Aladdin, everything. He just represented that kind of like, I mean, just wholeheartedness that I look back on my childhood, and the movie is just, and first of all, a unique telling of the story of Peter Pan,
For
right?
sure.
Like it was
Which
ambitious.
I appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons it was originally panned was because did not do that on purpose. Was because it was like it was just kind of like it took off from what Peter Pan's story really is. So like they tried something different, and
It's really like a sequel if you think about it.
yeah, and in the '90s, I think everything. If you think about culture in the '90s, pre 9/11, everything like post Soviet Union coming down, everything was kind of like happy and in this like fits in this nice little cookie cutter, and everything's perfect. And and Hook wasn't that. Hook really kind of like has his father, like this dad who just doesn't care about his kids. He cares about his career. He doesn't believe who he used to be. He doesn't do all these things. And I think it kind of just didn't fit in with the realm of the early '90s. And that's the only reason I can think it wasn't revered, because I don't know any soul that's watched this movie that it doesn't make them smile when they watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not? I mean, the cast is incredible. Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell, Robin Williams, like again, getting to play a semi-serious role, which we didn't get much of early in the career, and great and oh my gosh, what's the
Dustin
Captain
Hoffman?
Hook? Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Who honestly,
Oh my
on
gosh.
paper, I would never have guessed would be a good Captain Hook.
Shmee, kill me,
Shmee, what is up?
Shmee.
One of
Don't
the
try to
best
stop
lines
me,
in the
Shmee.
movie, like
Stop
when he's about
me,
to kill
Shmee.
himself. Oh my gosh, I die every time. But I don't know.
He's like,
I
"Are you just gonna stand there and let me do this? What the fuck?"
Yeah, like it's one of those movies that I watch and I feel like, hey, this is a perfect movie. It's not too long, it's not too short, it
Mhm.
doesn't like bother you. So to this day, I've mentioned this on the pod before, and I had a basketball goal in my backyard with a steel post that my dad built, and in it I wrote Rufio and I crossed it out, and I wrote Peter Pan and I had a
Wow.
circle about it. It's still there. Now it's
Wow.
completely like you can hardly see it, but it's still there. And I just remember as a kid, like just being obsessed with it, and Rufio, what a character arc he had. And you can't blame him. When you get older, you actually look at Rufio with understanding, right? When you're a kid, you're like,
100%.
why is he being such a jerk? What
Mhm.
Rufio had to deal with was Peter leaving and abandoning them.
And then just showing up when it's convenient again.
Exactly. And so Rufio's performance and everything like that, all of the Lost Boys, oh my God, the children's performances in this movie are iconic. I always love a movie where the children are just incredible, right? Like, because I don't even know how you get that purism out of these kids. But this is one movie that I know no matter what state I'm in, if I put this on, I'm gonna leave in a happy mood. I'm gonna find that happy place. I'm gonna fly.
Mhm.
Agree with everything you said. Two quick things. I recently watched a YouTube video talking about why Steven Spielberg didn't return to do any of the Jaws sequels. And they referenced how much he hated filming on water, like just had so many issues with it. And that's why in Hook, all of the scenes on the boat, they're always docked. Like they're never actually
Oh, wow.
like
Wow. So
out at
Spielberg's
sea.
a little bitch.
Basically. Another thing, talking about like how this movie made me feel as a kid, really checks all the genre boxes. We have fantasy, comedy, drama, but I don't know about you guys. I was so fucking scared as a child of the scene when Hook comes and abducts the kids from the house.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that frightened me. I still am getting like chills thinking about it.
No, and that's something you and I have talked about this. There was something about the '90s where they still made things realistic to not like. They still scared kids. They made things gave us dark elements. And I actually look back in some of these things. I'm like, man, they did not mind scaring a child right now. Like, because I think of my nieces, and I'm like, everything's like, hey, you can't. Hey, they might be frightened. We need to turn the scene off. We need to fast forward through this part. I was like, I watched this and I was younger than them. Like,
Yeah.
that's the '90s. The '90s were different.
A little hair on your chest.
Built different.
Yeah. Run home, Jack. Oh, home run, Jack.
Oh, home run, Jack. And talk about the score. God,
now I want to watch it. But...
If you don't like this movie, comment below and let me know where you want to meet up to fight each other.
No, I really want some of these people, and I think some of them have. It's like people who revisit old albums. Like Weezer's second album, Pinkerton, like was hated, and then everyone came out and was like, "Oh, it's their best album." It's like, okay, where are the people? Does anyone still hate this movie? Please come out. Like, I want to know what it is about this movie you don't like.
I wish Steven Spielberg didn't apologize. He was like, "Fuck you guys. This movie's good. You're stupid."
It's so bizarre. It's a work of art.
It's gross.
Yeah.
All right. We will end there for tonight. Nate, any closing thoughts for our 214th episode that you want to leave the people with?
214th episode. 21 plus 4 is...
Whoa.
15. Oh it's 20. Fuck, I fucked it up. I was going to try and
do
it.
Still creepy. Still creepy.
Hey. You know, I could get to 23 if I wanted to. Fuck you.
Yeah, how much time do you have? We'll get there.
Not that good at math, but we'll get there.
Some weird ass way to get there.
No, I don't have any thoughts.
Your closing words of wisdom.
Just want to give props to my boy Nate Thurman. Great victory, dominant performance. I think one for the ages in Jeopardy.
He's trying to lessen the punishment here.
I was no match, and I really hate Oscar-worthy movies. Please don't make me watch an Oscar-worthy movie. God.
You say that, but like part of you wants something on the lines of chopping them all, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would.
No,
Nathan's a man of class, though. Like, I don't know if he
has
that in his artillery. Like, I don't know if Nathan can give me some fucked up film.
If it was, I mean, yeah, I would be interested to see like what Banner could come up with, or
God.
Nate should put together like the Nate Thurman and Brian Banner double bill, where it's like Banshees of Inisherin and then like Velocipaster.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be nice.
That's
the
next
feature.
Bro v Bro. Has to be.
God.
It's be insane. I'll just leave with I'm getting my haircut tomorrow, and I'm going to follow my own advice. Let's not. Wait, what?
Oh, sorry, I sneezed.
Didn't sound. Let's not get too bold when you're in that chair, guys. I'm only going to go a few blue streak highlights and then a mohawk. That's it. Nothing.
That's fine. You're getting rid of the rat tail.
Yeah, I just had to. I was getting way too much attention.
Switch it up.
Yeah, the first year Jedi Padawan rat tail.
You got kicked out of the training team, didn't you?
I left of my own. I left of my own volition.
Okay, sure.
Well, the training was on a beach. It was very difficult.
I'm saying it's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, it's a horrible place, though.
Still washing that shit out from last week.
Ridiculous. All over my toes. All right, you can find us on Twitter, Threads, Instagram @BroForceSquad. Type in Broforce Squad as 3 separate words on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, where else? Letterboxd, pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts. And our website, broforcesquad.com. You can find our squad blog and the countdown of our top 100 movies of all time. Till next time, we'll see you at the movies. I'll be the one peeing on the men's urinal.
I'll be the one next to you.
You spend a lot of time there.
Also peeing at the men's urinal.
Good job.
I'll